as we do every day, and talk to our man, Kevin, in Florida. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Curt?
I'm good. Kevin, what's on your mind this morning, buddy?
Well, I want you to get rid of those allergies, man. I don't want to see you suffer in any way or respect, man.
I appreciate that.
You've got to go on a lot further than me, man.
No, you need to hang on, because if you don't keep talking, people aren't going to listen.
Well, other people have been talking, and I came across an article. One of the architects of Obamacare that's not really discussed is David Axelrod.
Yes.
He's one of those guys behind the scenes, and he was a senior advisor to President Obama. But in the same article that he was talking on Chris Matthews Hardball about Iran and healthcare. And I mean, how can you get like polar opposites?
Right.
But he's talking that Obama was there was they were rising up against the religious government of Iran. And Obama let them wither on the vine. He said he was choosing his words carefully so as not to cause any more death in the streets. What a schmuck. And then he wants to give us health care. And so Axelrod said, well, it's better to get some, or Matthews asked him, is it better to get some bill on health care this year rather than none? And so he says, if we don't have a health care reform that genuinely cuts costs, that preserves choice for people, and that assures the tens of millions of working Americans who don't have health insurance, or gives them a chance to buy affordable health insurance, then we will have been a failure. And so rather than know what they were doing, they would push through a bill, and they're a failure on all accounts.
Right.
When Axelrod was asked to get with Harold Ickes. Now, there's two Harold Ickes. One was a progressive, Harold LeClaire Ickes, whose son, Harold M. Ickes, is in a law firm with, like, Basil Patterson, who's a former New York Secretary of State, a state senator, and a New York City deputy mayor for labor relations and personnel. So he's a labor lawyer. And so they had SEIU. Now, SEIU is the reason why the VA is the way that it is, because it's their union that has organized the VA employees at the hospital. And these are the ones that dress in their purple shirt. I mean, down in New Orleans, the guy that founded Acorn in Little Rock, Arkansas, founded, I think it's Local 101 of the SEIU in New Orleans. And so, so we see that these people have been working, and this is what they've given us. And so they all got together, and they figured out what they needed to do to boost the union so that they would have more employees like the EPA, where only 6% of them are really necessary. The rest of them are going to night school so they can join an environmental law firm and come back and make us miserable so they can profit. This is the whole problem with this system.
Right. Well, so what's your solution? And I mean,
well, if the government gets out of everything that it has no business in, and we go back to the Constitution, we do away with the income tax and we have a sales tax, and people can go out and work. We could have another garment industry again, or the mills where John's at in North Carolina could come back.
Right.
And we could start doing things, and people could keep their money, and when they go and buy something, then they pay taxes. That's the most efficient way out of this mess. The other thing is we have to seize the assets of these people who have profited from their political position. This is not a new idea. It's been done through history in other countries. And when you take a look at in Iceland and in Spain, they arrested their bankers. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be arresting these bankers.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, it started out the Keating Five, in modern history. The savings alone out there with Keating and John McCain. And I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out, Curt. We've been bent over for so long, we're used to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of my comeback for liberals, their bitterness. I keep telling them, listen, if my party had been bending me over as badly as your party has been bending you over and sticking it to you for the last 30 years, I'd be pissed too. But
30 years, it's longer than that, Kurt.
Yeah.
You know, and then they took the civil rights, and made it theirs, and just a bunch of dumbasses go follow them because they don't know nothing, and nobody wants to teach the kids anything today. They want gender studies because it's easy. Go out and get a job with gender studies. What, at a gay bar?
Right. Well, listen. This is the same group of people who want us to believe scientists and climate change while recognizing 2,000 different genders. Come on.
Yeah, that's the route they want to take us,
right.
to take us away from capitalism so they can reduce the world's population.
Well,
it's all tied together.
It is, and we've talked about this before. It comes back to a very simple fact of the matter is that the farther away this country has moved from the church, and the farther away we've gotten from the dinner table, and we talked about this before, the farther away we've gotten from the founding principles. This country was founded on a lot of things that were good, then some things that weren't so good, but we fixed those things. And
could you imagine in World War II telling those guys that went over in 30 years we're going to have abortion on demand in America? And that's what you're fighting for now.
I've thought about that. Can you imagine talking to those kids, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids that were headed to Omaha Beach, talking to them about the fact that we're going to have kids today that will spit and burn the American flag, that will disrespect their elders to the degree that they do. I can't even. That sickens me to think. And listen, we're all part of the problem. To some degree, but that hurts to think that those men and lots of them are buried.
Over 120 million people died in the last century over conflict. Well, we killed from 1973 till now approximately 60 million of our own citizens.
Yep.
That's half that number.
Yep. Right.
So what kind of Holocaust have we brought into our land where God can actually look at us and hate us?
Right. Well, and then let's extend that disrespect of life a little bit farther and talk about how we treat our vets. I mean that in and of itself.
That's the thing. Yeah. That we saddled them with those rules of engagement and sent them out there. They've done studies. If you wear a mask and a generation of birds hate that mask, they'll attack you. When that generation's dead and you break out the mask again, the birds come back and attack you because the memories have been passed genetically. Yeah. And so they're weakening us on every angle because they're psychiatrists. They like this stuff. They think up in this darkness.
Well,
and they turn from the light. They don't accept God, and they think that they know the human mind.
Well, you know what, Kev? I don't know what I'd do without your call every day, buddy. Always good to hear from you. You have a good one. Stay safe. God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Let's go out to...